today we are going to begin our mindfulness practice with a little bit of movement. And so, to begin, we will find ourselves in a seated position. If you would like to lay down after the movement, that's perfectly fine. For now, find a nice seated position where you can comfortably move, as we're going to be doing some spinal twists along with some visualization. So as we begin, you can find yourself in a seated position, and we can begin to imagine that the spine is sort of like a sponge, similar to the sponges that we use to clean our homes and clean our dishes. Our spine, the sponge of our spine, might be holding on to a bunch of dirty, grimy water, maybe holding on to some negativity, holding on to memories from the past. And so before we begin to move, we can just check in with that sponge, noticing what you've carried with you and what might need to be wrung out. And whenever you feel ready, you can breathe in, bringing your hands up to the ceiling, reaching for the sky. And then as we do our twists, we can imagine that we're wringing out that dirty sponge. And so maybe we begin by bringing our left hand down to the right knee, placing the right fingertips behind you. Exhaling, sitting up tall with this twist. Inhaling again, reaching both arms up to the sky, up to the ceiling. And then bringing the right fingertips or right hand to your left knee and placing the left fingertips behind you. And again, visualizing that you can wring out all of that dirty water, all of the stuff that you've brought along with you. Continuing that movement, following the breath, inhaling arms up, and exhaling left hand to right knee, right fingertips behind you. Not forcing the twist, not trying to get into any certain position, just twisting as far as feels right to you and your body. Continuing that movement, again inhaling arms up and exhaling, twisting, imagining that you can wring out all that you're carrying with you. You can continue that movement, doing so 2 or 3 more times. Inhaling arms up and exhaling with each twist. Again, not forcing anything. Listening to your body. Finding that edge and stopping right when you've reached it. Maybe finishing up with this movement. Imagining that wringing out of the spine, that sponge. And whenever you are done with that, you can inhale both arms up, reaching up to the sky, breathing deeply here. And maybe imagining that a white light or a fresh shower flow of water is coming down from the sky, from the ceiling, moving down into the body, down into the spine, into the sponge, and rinsing out all those areas where maybe there's a little bit more space, where the things that you once carried used to exist. Continuing to breathe here with this imagery. Noticing how the mind and the body and maybe even the soul responds to this cleansing. Taking a final breath. Releasing the arms. And if you would like to continue to sit for your practice, maybe you stay exactly where you are. Or maybe you find a comfortable lying position, lying down. And getting there in your own time. Allowing yourself to be held. If you're down on the floor, maybe allowing yourself to be held by the ground underneath you. If you're sitting in a chair, or in the future, if you listen to this laying down in a bed, allowing yourself to notice the ways in which these surfaces support you. And maybe even notice the ways in which your body may resist that support. Maybe noticing the ways in which you are actively holding yourself up. And maybe allowing yourself to let go just a little bit more. Breathing into that space of tension. Making a little bit more space. And exhaling, settling down. As you continue to arrive into a space in your body where you feel supported, where you're able to relax more and more, maybe you begin to notice the breath. Maybe noticing the ways in which the breath naturally flows through the body. Maybe you notice the ways in which the chest or belly may rise with each inhale and fall with each exhale. And maybe you might notice how the body responds, how the breath responds to your attention. Maybe it begins to deepen and slow down. Maybe the muscles begin to relax more and more, settling into this feeling of support. And if there's areas of the body, including the mind, where it's difficult to let go, where the mind and the body want to hold on and brace for impact, where it tries to steer the ship where you're going, you can notice that. Maybe gently encouraging it to give up as much control as that part of the body and brain would be willing to do in this moment. And allowing it to hold on to whatever control it might be needing to feel safe. And so if a certain part of the body refuses to relax, that's okay. If the mind refuses to slow down and be in the present moment, that's okay. Because while the front of the mind might be trying to follow along with every instruction, with every word, with every aspect of this journey, the back of the mind is already there. Without even trying. That part of you already knows where it needs to go. So maybe we begin to purposely deepen the breath. Breathing deeply in through the nose, filling up the belly. And letting it go. Breathing in. And out. Taking another big deep breath in. And out. Allowing the breath to fall back to its natural rhythm, deepening it whenever it feels right for you. Best for you. And as you continue to breathe, we'll check back in with the body, with that sponge. Maybe noticing the areas in the body where some of the dirt and the grime and the negativity that we've built up through use of our bodies, of our minds, of our hearts and souls. Maybe we notice where that was able to be released, squeezed out. And we'll begin imagining that above us is a clean, fresh stream of water. Maybe it feels more like a white light coming down. Maybe it feels like you're in the shower. Maybe it feels like you're under a waterfall. And allowing this to come to you in any way the mind sees fit. Knowing that the mind's eye is different than the two eyes we use to see. And so maybe, yes, there's an image, but maybe there's just the sensation. Maybe the image comes to you in fragments and pieces. Maybe there's just a deep knowing that there's this flowing energy, this flowing light, this flowing cleaning, cleansing water coming down. And helping you to fill in those spaces where some of that negative energy, the dirt, the grime, the toxicity that we may carry with us, be seeing if it can filter into those spaces. Maybe we begin noticing it flowing down the head. Allowing it to cleanse all the spaces at the top of the head. Flowing through, allowing you to relax more and more. Not needing to rush through the process, but allowing yourself to go through it little by little. If your mind chooses to jump around, filling in different areas of the body before we get there, that's okay. Moving down the body, noticing that flowing light, that flowing water come down into your forehead. Filling up the head. Cleansing any spaces here where there's some space for light. Some space for something new, something fresh. Continuing to breathe as you do so. As we move down the body again, allowing this light or water or energy to flow down into the throat. Maybe washing away any leftover debris, dirt, grime. Anything that feels ready to be washed out. Moving down the body, down the spine, imagining that this light or water or energy is cleansing the space around the heart, around the chest, upper back. And again, not forcing anything. Continuing down the body, once again, if you feel ready, allowing this light or energy or water, whatever you are working with, to flow down the spine, into the center, into our core. Allowing it to flow into the spaces where there's a little bit more room for something new, something fresh. Continuing down the body, maybe noticing that cleansing energy moving into the hips, down into the sits bones where you might be supported right now in this moment. Continuing down the body, allowing the legs, the feet to also receive that cleansing light, water, energy. Allowing yourself to witness the ways in which the body allows you to let go of things you may have been carrying. And noticing how the body and the mind respond to this cleansing. Continuing with the visualization here, maybe noticing that showering of light, that waterfall, noticing it from the tips of your head to the tips of your toes. Allowing yourself to imagine that any final little bits that are ready to be washed off, give yourself the time and the space to do just that. Not needing to rush anything. Knowing that right now in this moment, being here is the only thing you need to do. And maybe notice what arises in these moments of stillness. What does your mind tell you is important? What does it try to move you towards or away from? And as we check in with the body, does this feel aligned? And if it doesn't, maybe we make note of that. And maybe we gently bring the mind back to the present moment. Or bringing it back to things that do feel in alignment with you and your values and how you would like to exist in this moment. And if at any point you feel done with the light or the waterfall or the shower, and you would like to find a space to just be, you can allow yourself to do that. Maybe imagining a space created just for you. A space where you won't be bothered or distracted or expected to do anything other than to be. as we begin to transition ourselves back into this physical space, we might make note of anything that felt particularly important, anything worth remembering, whether it's a thought or a feeling, a sensation, an image. It doesn't have to make sense. Just noticing it. Maybe you take a little memento from this experience, something to remind you to come back to this space, something to remind you that you have this ability to cleanse, to feel supported, to be in the present moment, even if it just is for a moment. And as we begin to wake up the body, maybe we begin by deepening the breath again. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Inhaling. Taking one last big deep breath. Maybe we begin bringing in some gentle movement. Maybe wiggling fingers and toes. Maybe rolling out the neck, stretching the arms. Maybe we do a few more spinal twists, allowing yourself to wake up the spine again. Maybe rolling the shoulders up and back and down. Maybe rolling them forward. Whatever feels best for you, all options are best. And then whenever you feel ready, maybe you open up the eyes, coming back into the room. And again, not rushing it.